Hello, Esther. Good evening. How are you? Can you confirm if you can hear me? Hello, Esther. Can you confirm if you can hear me? You can drop a message in the chat box. Hello, good evening. Esther, good evening. How are you? Can you confirm if you can hear me? Can you confirm if you can hear me? I'm getting from YouTube. So what do we do?
I can hear you, sir.
All right, great. We need to address the sound issue from YouTube. Can you confirm if you can hear me? Let's close it, Abby.
Yeah, I guess.
You can drop a message in the chat box. Hello, good evening. Just check if it's still live. So share screen. All right, can you see my screen? Esther, please let us know you are our live participants now. So let us know that you can see my screen. You can probably drop a message or can you see my screen? So is my screen visible? All right. Okay, so we're going to start and then we'll take it from there and people then join us. Hello, everyone. ArchiFarmer here. Nice to have you with us. And we're looking at farm banking, and this is episode 3. We're looking at a peek at land banking and upgrade to farm banking. We're going to have different thoughts and conversations around that. For this particular session, we're going to be having introducing permaculture. I've had 2 other iterations of this, and we're taking the discussion a bit further. This journey started for me about 5 years ago, but more recently, permaculture journey started about 3 years ago. My background as an architect has given me the extreme privilege where I get to come at agriculture from a different perspective. And with permaculture now, I get to mix the best of architecture and agriculture. And in our slides today, we're going to look at the link between architecture and agriculture. I've also talked about this extensively, so I would like to proceed fast. However, we're going to then focus on our key, which is leveraging trees for health and wealth. All right. Our welcome thoughts. You have heard it said, don't wait to buy land and wait. Now, what we are doing is to add to that narrative by saying, why buy land and wait when you can buy land, plant on the land, and gain as you wait? So that's our thoughts. And that's the essence behind farm banking. But to understand what land banking is the practice of buying land as an investment and hoping to bank on that in the future, because land is a fixed asset, is limited in available quantity, and then it has ability to increase in value. So it is ability to spot land that can develop earlier, buy earlier, and lock that in. It has some pros and some cons. Now, what the key idea behind land banking is to hold land as a portfolio asset for a number of years, minimum of a decade usually. And it is one of the ways that the wealthy keep their wealth generationally. So for every portfolio that you see, land or real estate is one of the core parts of every portfolio that a lot of people have. All right, so we proceed to introducing permaculture. Now, permaculture is introducing permaculture. Permaculture is a design thinking system. It helps you It's from the word permanent agriculture that helps combine ecosystems in a way that is diverse, stable, and resilient, all right? It's an approach that integrates landscapes, ensures that you care for the earth, care for the people, and you create a surplus. It involves people consciously, involves ensuring that you give back to nature. Now, it encompasses a lot of disciplines, and that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. As an architect with permaculture, I begin to think of responsible housing systems. I begin to think of combining what is called agritecture. How do I ensure that we introduce food into housing? It impacts you as an engineer, it impacts you whether you're a medical practitioner, it impacts you in finance, it impacts you in every other way. So permaculture is one of the key ways to go. Now, one of the drives of permaculture is to ensure that you work with the earth and not against it. I'm taking little time in focusing on this, and that is because I've talked about this in some other conversations and engagements. So permaculture, one of permaculture's principles is to catch and store energy. So in all your interactions in life, ensure that you manage energy properly and appropriately. All right. So going straight into it, let's introduce farm banking. And if you're new, probably are watching this later on YouTube, catch other episodes where I talked about farm banking. This particular episode, I'm going to go straight into leveraging trees, something I did earlier this evening. Today is the 30th of October. So earlier this evening, it had rained a lot. I went out and just took a little pictures of different herbs, shrubs, plants growing in my garden. I'll show some of that to you. Now, farm banking is a system of aggregating land in locations that we call peri-urban locations and utilizing them for long-term, low maintenance, yet high-yielding agricultural production. What we mean by that is get lands in areas that are not yet developed. They don't yet have are not used for residential purposes, industrial purposes. They are still just lying fallow. And then let's aggregate that in a system. It's an upgrade to land banking that ensures you get land, and then you look at what practices you can do with the land. So it has some core principles. While there are 7 steps, there are 3 core principles. There is the buy principle, there is the plan principle, and there is the watching principle, all right? And under the buy, we say buy early. We say buy earth and buy the future. That means you buy a location that you know has propensity to grow. You buy a location early on time. You buy a location, and you buy a location that can help you. You buy a location that you know will develop over time. So you don't, it's not about just picking any location. You pick a look, and one of the key things to picking location is pick a location that is round a city. For example, I'll give you an example. For those of us in and around Nigeria, any location on the outskirts of Lagos will develop. That's the reason why you see a lot of people rushing to Imota in Ikorodu because of the 4th mainland bridge. That's why you see people rushing to Ekpe. That's why you see people rushing to Iperu, Ijebu axis. Any location around a major city or around a major axis will develop. Now, the second thing is to plant early. Now, once you want to buy, because today we're focusing on leveraging trees. For a tree to mature, it takes at least 3 to 4 years. So the earlier you get the land, the earlier you plant the land, the earlier you can begin to earn an income. So under buy early, make your money move fast. Every time, for those of us who are members of the cooperative or the cooperative that I'm privileged to lead, we're always seeking for land, because in Nigeria here, access to land is one of the greatest challenges of farmers. In fact, I did a research, and one of the things I found out from the food FAO, is the Food and Agriculture Organization, is that access to land is one of the greatest challenges. Access to quality inputs, and then access to finance. Those are some of the greatest challenges of farmers. So ensure you make your money moves quick, make your money decisions quick. Imagine you could have bought same locations like Lekki some 30 years ago. You could have bought areas in Banana, say 30 years ago. You know, if you could have bought those kind of locations earlier, you will be swimming lots more in money. Now, there's a different advantage where you can plant on that land and also gain. Now, the second key is to plant early. Like I said, it takes time for a tree to grow. And I want to speak to those of us who are farmers. I see a lot of farmers, particularly in and around Nigeria. We plant simple crops. We plant crops that can give us a return fast. And while I don't discourage that, I encourage that we employ a sustainable design thinking system. If you invest only, for instance, in corn and say cassava, every year you need to replant. Every year you need to plant. But if you go for crops, and we'll go into them, like cocoa, for crops like Musa, that's banana, for crops like oil palm, you plant once and then it can give you a sustainable return over time. And then think generationally, plan and think generationally. Under the watching matrix, you then begin to maintain that. You then begin to watch the land that you have gotten. All right. So I've encouraged us to buy early, buy earth, and buy for the future. Plant early, plan for that earth, and plan for the future. Within farm banking, there are several processes. One of them is try to ensure what kind of purchase you are doing. Are you leasing? Are you having freehold land? And then what type of land are you investing in? Some people just go and pick any type of land. It is important that you know the type of land that you are starting your journey with. And for those of us, if you're not going to do aquaculture, I can showcase a project here that will have aquaculture in part of the things I want to talk about today. If you're not just going to do aquaculture, I will then recommend that you go for as much as possible dry land with good soil that can help you. And then the third level is to design for that land. Don't just pick any land and say you can do anything that you want to do with it. Design for that land. All right, you design for the land. The next thing is to implement and then take it up from there. Now, I've talked about the link between architecture and agriculture. So I will just go over that and focus on our main focus for today. Our focus for today is leveraging trees for health and for wealth. I started with a study, and the study was, I asked ChatGPT to try and compare the average numbers of trees versus the average numbers of people that are on the earth. That how many trees are on the earth compared to the number of people. And it was a very, 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 very interesting answers. What I wanted to do was that I wanted to see how many, on an average, how many trees should an individual plant in life. And it said there are about 3.04 trillion trees, and there are about 8.1 billion humans, and that is about 375 trees per person. You know what this is sharing with me is, if everyone pays attention and just plans to plant another 300 trees, we can cut back carbon emission. We can reduce it. Of course, it is important that we also reduce our carbon footprint, but everyone, we need trees as much as we need each other. Trees are a vital part of our survival rate. So, and another thing that I also saw when it comes to this conversation around trees was the fact that human beings tend to cut down 2 times the number of trees that we plant every year. An exact figure is about 15 billion trees are cut down every year, whereas just about 5 billion, 3 times, 5 billion are planted. That means for every 3 trees that we cut down, we only replace 1. We are losing trees on the earth, and trees are very important. The first thing is that they cause air purification. Whichever evolution theory you believe in, whether creation, I believe in creation, whether evolution, trees are important for the survival of the human race. And look at it, man takes in oxygen, gives out carbon dioxide. Compare that with trees. They take in carbon dioxide and give back out oxygen. That's why you see we need trees for reduction of airborne pollutants. We need trees for their economic well-being, for the things that they can bring, the temperature moderation that they bring. You see, right under a shady tree can provide a few degrees centrifuge off just by being under a shade. And then it also helps in the provision of food. Now, there are several benefits of trees. Some are very obvious, some are not so obvious. One of such benefits is our food trees. Now, for the design features that we do and that we encourage people to do, one of the things that we always share is for people to ensure you have food trees around you. Ensure that nature is all around you. One of the things that we're also pushing is that man is biological. We must repair man from biology. We must ensure, for those of us that are from African descent, we realize early, a lot of our fathers, a lot of our grandfathers, our forebears, they used to understand the purposes behind different things. They understood what to do with different backs of roots, that's tree barks. They understood what to do with different leaves. You know, I was just checking and doing my research, and I found out soursop leaves is said to have anti-cancer medicinal properties, whereas it has not been fully confirmed. It's still being argued, but I can tell you that those things in nature are one of the things we should look at. Trees provide food, they provide cash, they provide medicinal and perfume trees. For instance, neem, for instance, is a natural pesticide. That means we don't need to be pumping chemicals in the earth like we do. Neem will do the same for us. I'll tell you about another tree, agarwood. Agarwood is very interesting in that from it, from agarwood, we can get wood perfume. I'm not, for those of us that are on Zoom here, if you've heard about agarwood, just let me know in the chat box. If you've not, let me also know. From agarwood, we can get wood perfume. We can get sandalwood, also gives us perfume. And then it is from there that we produce our furniture. From trees that will produce our furniture, produce fencing, produce a lot of things. I can tell you, trees are a foundational block to building systems. All right. Let's now focus on trees in the tropics. Some of the trees that I have planted. Let me try and just look at some of the trees I've planted. Across one of our projects, we have planted at least 2,000 ecological trees. Now, we planted thick Amelinum. And the reason we planted thick Amelinum was because in 7 years, that tree will grow and give us robust timber for different things. It will capture and it would also give us an increase. So remember, we're talking about leveraging trees for health and for wealth. We also have moringa. In fact, I have moringa in my compound. In one of the pictures that I'm going to show to you, you'll see moringa there. Moringa leaves are very healthy. The tree trunk itself is also useful. The seed, in fact, you can bite on it and eat it raw. It's a natural antioxidant. A lot of our parents knew a lot about this, but you see, these natural systems have been taken away from our core education, and they have been left with, in fact, they call those people herbalists, and traditionally we think that it is bad, but you see, herbs can repair our body. Now, trees play very crucial roles. For instance, another tree that we have planted is palm oil. The very next farm banking webinar will be focusing on palm oil. No part of that particular tree is wasted. From palm oil, you get vegetable oil, you get palm oil, you get palm kernel oil, palm kernel cake, you get even fuel, things you can burn for fuel. So trees are very important and can make you wealthy. Let's talk a little bit about monetary value. What is possible? So for instance, in Nigeria of today, to buy a tree seedling costs under 500 naira. That's about 30 cents if you compare that to the US dollar. Now, you need to maintain it for the first 2 years. Per tree, you may not even need to spend more than 1,000 naira, which is less than $1. Now, and then you keep that tree for 10 years. In 10 years, that same tree can be sold at least 25 to 30,000 naira. Think about it. Which other business guarantees you in 10 years 20x return, 30x return. This now is not palm oil. This is a wood tree that you're just keeping for timber. So you're not doing anything, you're just planting it for timber. If you want to go to a product like shea butter, for instance, or we go to coconut, for instance, one coconut tree, you wait 3 years. By year 4, it begins to produce, depending on the species you plant, at least 100 fruit every year. So imagine you have just 10 of that, and you sell each one for a mega 500 naira per fruit. That means from one tree, you get 500,000. From 10 trees, you get 5 million every year. I know people who have retired on this. So what I tell people when we go around and having to address cooperatives, what we tell people is that plan this as your retirement. As the ArchiFarmer, I want to retire, of course, in a beachside property, but I want to retire having different food crops. I can jump straight to one of our projects. Okay, let me just follow it. We have the back of trees for agar wood. We have a project where we have agar wood. For those who are members of our community, we will be visiting one of such projects very soon, and then you will see the trees live themselves. Trees also act as an infrastructural barrier. They enhance architecturally. And you know, one of the things that we are promoting is do not just think landscapes, think foodscapes, think things that can give you a sustainable return. Let me see if I can go straight into some of our projects. Okay, this particular project in Ekpe, what we have done with this project is we have designed it. It is 2 kilometers from the Lagos Lagoon, and it's 4 kilometers from the express. So we have designed it to have specific areas. I'm not sure you can see my cursor, but if you can, it has parks around it. Those green areas are parks that will be forever be parks, and they are left there. Then we will then plant trees such that people that are living within that place can then have different economic benefits from those. Another example is this particular project. It's cooperative owned. This was when I was talking about what we have planted 2,000 economic crops in this particular plantation, excuse me. For our boundary crops, let me see, yes, if you can see my cursor, we have 2,000 trees planted around the boundary of that particular farm estate. Then we now have oil palm inside. We then have agar wood. We then have orchard crops. When I say orchard crops, we have citruses, from Tangelo to sweet lime to shaddock to sweet orange to grape. We then have mango. We have I'm trying to remember, jackfruit. We have ogbono. If anybody knows the English name for ogbono, tell me. It's not locust brace. We have ogbono. We have different, at least 300 orchard crops, and it's a cooperative owned system. I want to create, with our cooperative, want to create one of the first walking harvest all you can. So members of the cooperatives can come in there. So if you are someone who lives in a urban area and you don't have access to land, one of the things we encourage is gather as much as possible with people of like minds and create projects like this. These are projects that can last 30, 50 years. These are projects that can last 50 long-term projects, and they give you health value. I would show pictures of the one I took from my home garden where I am today. So this is the oil palm planted in a larroom. The agar wood is somewhere here. Members of the community will be visiting this in 2 weeks, 2 months from now. That's in December. Then Permaculture Farm City is in Oyo State. With Permaculture Farm City, what we're doing is 600 acres of oil palm, and within that establishment, we will then have climate smart agriculture. We'll have cocoa. We'll have different other crops, and this particular one is 15 kilometers from the Iyake Lake, and that's Iyake Lake right there. The Iyake Lake is the only naturally suspended mountain lake in the world. Now, these are potential opportunities for those in Lagos State. The last time we visited this place, we had 2 bikers drive past us, and they were coming to experience this. People come from Europe to just come and see the beauty in serene nature. What we are then recommending with farm banking to leverage trees is, while we have gotten a property there, while we're waiting for that place to become a prime location, residential location, we're establishing oil palm, because oil palm will begin to fruit from year 4, and then it will fruit for the next 30 years, and it will give us income every year for 30 years. This is how I want you to begin to think. This is what I want you to begin to do. You have a village, you have a village land, a family land somewhere, plant in that place. You know, it is very tough for land that already has palm oil, already has maybe cocoa, for people to say that this land does not have a owner. It is obvious that it is one way to secure your land. So that's this project that we're talking about. There's one final one. I'm not sure I can zoom in here. If you can see my cursor, behind this project is being designed to become premium living with green areas. As we scale up into this, but right now, oil farm has been planted there. And as we scale up, we then have different fruit trees all within it, so that you don't just have agriculture or residential areas alone. You have areas where you can pick what you want to eat and different things. So that's the Permaculture Farm City. I think there's one more that I wanted to share, which is Ikara. Ikara is the one I was talking earlier about that has the river. So we're doing, that's the river here. Over the river, we're going to be putting cage aquaculture. That means we'll be having fish on the river. But this one, it was a Ikara that where I saw the calabash nutmeg, which is one tree that produces fruits. The fruit is good for different kind of spices. Imagine you have just that one tree, you are in money for a long time. This is the right time to go into, if you're from the north of Nigeria, to go into the date tree, go into shea butter. These are trees that will command export value for years. Nigeria made an interesting mistake when we abandoned the soil for oil. Right now, our current president has ordered the planting of 100 million trees. Will you be part of that revolution? When it comes to palm oil, one of the things I say is, with every acre that is planted, you are guaranteed of at least 600 liters. 600 liters is those yellow kegs, 30-liter kegs, 20 of that every year. I'll tell you a quick story. A group of friends of mine we gathered together and we bought our first palm oil farm in 2017. Between 2018 and today, 2025, my family, we are just going to buy palm oil for the first time this year. And why are we going to buy palm oil this year? That's because the price of palm oil peaked last year. And then people who were managing that project for us, we all decided that we're going to sell the palm oil rather than our previous practice of getting palm oil. But just because of a one-off plan in purchasing that, we have become oil sufficient. Right now, as a cooperative, we are currently expanding into 150 acres. In the next few years, we want to expand that into 500 acres. That's as a cooperative. As an individual, I recommend everybody, nobody should have less than 1 acre of land where you can do at least 300 to 400 different trees. There is nothing bad if you have 10 mango trees, you have 10 coconut trees, you have 10 different citruses, and you have lime, you have lemon, you have moringa. Every time there's a need for a herb, you can easily access that. Your quality of life will be better because you cannot guarantee what you are getting from the market. And with the news and everything happening, it is important right now that we protect our own health by ensuring that we know where our food is coming from. I'm going to stop now. So this is Ikara. It's an interesting project. It's 875 acres. Please follow that project as more come in. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Trees are a key part of all that we need to survive and to thrive. If you don't remember anything, remember one thing. I recommend one man at least 300 trees. A family should at least have 1 acre. my own family, we're deciding for way more than that. So I'm going to stop sharing now and take you straight to, I'll take you straight to the image that I took just this evening. I mean, I just stepped out like 20 or 30 minutes before this, and I took some images. If anybody on the Zoom call, if you could confirm if you can see my screen, that would be great. Maybe a chat. These are all images I took, and I'm going to start with that. Can you see my? Yes, you can see my screen. Now, this one is of a plant that is a flower. Looks very beautiful, but for me, it's just aesthetics. I absolutely have no idea of any other thing that it does aside aesthetics. Compare this to this. This one has more purple, quite frankly. But this also has purple, and this is your common water leaf. Very edible. I remember in Ikara a few weeks ago, I took a picture of a whole bed of water leaf. It was beautiful. So we have this right beside us. I mean, for those of you that just want to be fanciful, you can have this. But for those of us that want to be fanciful and have things that are edible, fanciful and edible, these are things that we have. This, you can see, is still raining. I took this about 20 minutes ago. Now this, on the other hand, this is what they call Cuban oregano. It's growing all in my house. For those of you that are in and around the community, if you remind me against our bishop, let me also remind you, we can take some of this and put it in the farm. It will spread. Against our farm visit, I'll make some of this available for you. What's Cuban oregano? Women will know oregano. Oregano is used for spices. You can dehydrate it, add it to your stock, use it to cook. This is Cuban oregano. Here we have beans, we have peppers, this particular mix of pictures, and you have vegetables. There is one other one I wanted to show you. Yes, this on the left-hand side is plain oregano. It's the same as oregano as the other, but that one is Cuban. This is plain oregano. Once again, it's used for spices, used for meals, and then you can also eat it. Now, I'm going to give everybody a final assignment, as I call it a night tonight. My final assignment is to go and Google miracle leaf. This right here is what they call miracle leaf. Some people call it leaf of life. Now, these are not trees. I'm simply showing you how that it is important if you want to live a healthy and a wealthy life. It is important to have nature all around you. This particular miracle leaf is used for so many medicinal purposes. People use it to fight high blood pressure. People use it to fight different things. Just by simply having here this one, you have a strong antioxidant. Also, imagine, let's go back to Cuban oregano. This particular one, once I planted it just once, and I've not done any other thing. It spreads, keeps spreading. Anytime my wife needs it, we just go harvest a little. And how do you plant it? You just cut a part and you dip it in the soil, and it grows again. And from this one, you can literally dry it, blend it, and start to sell. Ladies and gentlemen, trees are important. I encourage everyone, even if you don't yet have a place, even if it's something for you, you're a student, you're young, you're still thinking, I can tell you, begin to have in your mind that I've given you a law that in your lifetime, you need to plant a minimum of 300 trees. And if you don't, if you are in a highbrow area, gather with people and ensure that if you are 10 of you, get 10 acres and you plant it with trees. And then imagine the 10 of you, you put yourself in the bus once every month, you just go to the farm. And then in 3 years, you can begin to harvest different things that will be very exciting for you. So thank you so much. If you have watched this just on YouTube, you can chat with us and connect with us. But for those of us that are here on Zoom, if you have any questions, I would love to take them. I'll also like to announce that we'll be going to our farm December 13, where some of these stories, the pictures you've seen, you'll then get to see them live. But for now, thank you so much. And if there are any questions, I'll take them now. Thank you. So any questions, everybody? Let me stop sharing. Any questions? If there are no questions, just say none from me, and then we can call it a night. Next time, we will be talking about, sorry, do you mean the images did not open at all? You didn't see the images at all? I just saw a message that the images didn't open.
Yes, sir.
At all?
It
it was not full. It was only showing all the images at once.
Are you serious? Oh boy. And here was I explaining. Can you see it now? How about now?
Yes, I can see it now.
You can see it now. Okay, this is Cuban oregano. I've already talked about them. This is Cuban oregano. Let me see if I can move. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about the water leaf. This is the one I was saying that was just a flower. So this is water leaf. This is Cuban oregano. This one has water leaf. He has beans. He has peppers. Same image. This one, if you can see my cursor here, this is normal oregano. There's oregano here, and there's water leaf here. And this is the leaf of life I was talking about. Miracle leaf. This is the one that I gave everybody to just go research around. So whatever it is that you do, ensure you have that. So finally, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I will stop the live stream on this note. We didn't even record this, so we'll stop the live stream on this note. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We'll catch you on the next one. Do have a lovely evening, everyone. You can unmute and now and say hi and bye, hi and bye, hi and bye.
Hi and bye.
Bye.
Hi and bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I'm closing it in now. 3, 2.